I recall that evening vividly. It was a brisk autumn night, imbued with the aroma of decaying leaves and with smoke permeating the atmosphere. The sky was adorned with shades of rich orange and purple as the sun descended below the horizon, sending elongated shadows across the tranquil streets. I had just settled in with a book and a warm cup of tea when my phone buzzed. It was a message from Emily, my oldest and dearest friend. "Hey, can you do me a significant favor?" I expressed a smile. Emily had always been direct. Her response regarding the nature of the favor was prompt. "Emily, the matter concerns Alex. He is currently in a predicament. I am away for the weekend and am uncertain whom to consult. I have known Alex's son since his birth, having observed his development from an inquisitive child to a reserved yet benevolent young man. The last occasion I saw him was at his high school graduation. He had become taller, his features more defined, and his previously youthful demeanor had evolved into something more mature yet ambiguous. There was a moment of hesitation regarding the situation. Before Emily replied, she learned that he was stopped on the roadside due to minor car trouble. "Could you please check on him?" I exhaled, placing my book down and retrieving my coat. A tranquil evening seemed appealing, yet Emily and I had endured too much for me to decline. Naturally, I inquired about his whereabouts. She sent me a location pin. It was not far, just outside of town on a secluded stretch of road near the old bridge. I took my keys and departed. Upon arrival, Alex was leaning against his car, arms crossed, his expression a blend of frustration and relief. The vehicle was positioned at an unusual angle. One tire, entirely deflated, his dark hair was slightly tousled from the wind catching the last light of the day. He straightened when he saw me. "Oh, thank God," he sighed. "I thought I'd be stuck here all night." I stepped out of my car and glanced at the flat tire. "Your mom said you got into some trouble." "She didn't mention a tire." He rubbed the back of his neck sheepishly. "Yay, I might have misjudged a turn and hit the curb a little too hard." I folded my arms. "And you don't have a spare?" "I do," he admitted. I've never changed a tire before." I chuckled. "Well, it's something every driver should know how to do. Come on, I'll show you." We got to work, and I walked him through each step, loosening the lug nuts, jacking up the car, removing the flat. He paid close attention, his brow furrowed in concentration. At one point, he looked up and grinned. "You're really good at this," he said. "You do this often?" "Let's just say I've had my fair share of car troubles over the years," I replied with a smirk. "You learn when you don't have someone to call." His expression softened. "Yeah, I guess I've always had Mom to rely on." Something in his voice made me pause. I glanced at him. "Everything okay?" He hesitated, then shrugged. "I don't know, I just feel stuck lately. Like I should have everything figured out, but I don't even know where to start. Everyone keeps saying I'm an adult now, but I don't feel like one." I tightened the last bolt on the spare tire and handed him the wrench. "Tighten these, and trust me, no one really knows what they're doing at 19. You figure it out as you go." He looked up at me, searching. "What about you? When did you figure it all out?" I laughed. "Still working on it." That made him smile. He completed securing the tire, and I inspected his work before nodding in approval. "Good job. Now, let's get you back on the road." As he gathered the tools, he hesitated. "Would you mind if I stayed at your place for a while? I don't quite feel like going home yet." There was a subtle vulnerability in his voice. I paused briefly before affirmatively nodding. Therefore, our journey commenced. A simple favor evolved into an unforeseen dialogue, establishing a connection I had not anticipated. Back at my residence, the warm glow of the kitchen lights softened the evening's edges, while the aroma of cinnamon lingered in the air, accompanied by the quiet hum of the refrigerator that filled the space between us. I placed a plate of leftover pasta before him. "Eat up," I urged, as he twirled his fork in the noodles absent-mindedly. "Thanks for everything," he replied. "Anytime," I said, sitting across from him. "But tell me, what's truly on your mind?" He exhaled. "I don't know where I'm headed. College didn't feel right. Work doesn't feel right. It seems like everyone else is progressing, and I'm just stagnant." I nodded. "That's normal. Society implies you should have everything figured out by 18, but that's not reality." He scrutinized me. "How did you determine what you wanted?" I grinned and shook my head. "You're supposing I ever did. Life is not a linear trajectory. Alex, I have attempted various endeavors, encountered failures, and commenced anew. Even now, I am still navigating my circumstances." His gaze softened, as though my words alleviated a burden he bore. We conversed late into the night, our dialogue flowing effortlessly. As the hours elapsed, I recognized a transformation, not solely within him but within myself as well. Occasionally, the most unforeseen connections are the ones that profoundly alter us.